Good Morning Gwinnett Presents the Friday Morning Mingle, the show hosted by the women of the Thrive Tribe, sponsored by the Gwinnett Women's Chamber of Commerce. Check out the ladies every Friday morning at 10 a.m. as they talk about their real life as an entrepreneur. If you miss an episode, be sure to go to www.goodmorninggwinnett.com to listen to past shows. Sit back and enjoy.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Friday Morning Mingle. Listen, Letitia and I are always rushing to get here on this show on the second Friday of each month because we're networking and we have to rush to get back in front of the camera, which is nuts because we call ourselves leaving early today and we're still rushing. So that is why we are 4 minutes late. So please, I apologize for being late, but we're business women. This is a part of what we talk about. Right. We're business women. We're juggling 9 million things, trying to get from one side of Gwinnett to the other side of Gwinnett in a matter of minutes, which never works. So
right.
I don't know what we're going to do about that.
Well, I mean, there's nothing we can do. The people that are watching, they understand whether they are business owners or not. It's just this great thing called life. It's unpredictable. Stuff already happens. And because we are successful entrepreneurs, we know how to pivot at the drop of a dime. So there it is.
There it is. It's so funny because we always have a great breakfast meetup. We had 2 back to back. So yesterday was freaking amazing. It was crazy because there were people who were in the financial industry who did not know some of the terms that the estate planning attorney was talking about. It was amazing. So we have a bunch of amazing speakers that come in and present at our breakfast and our lunch and learns. But that was one of the by far the best ones. And I think it was so good was because we're all on this journey to become legacy business owners and creators and things like that. And there were just things that pretty much everybody in the room did not know. Some we know a little bit about this, a little bit about that, but in the big scheme of things, the things that she was saying, everybody was like, yeah, we just gonna have to make an appointment because like people were like leaning, it was people laid out on the table like, now say that again now. It was crazy because you just see like the life just because there are people who thought, I'm really financially savvy. I know what I'm doing. And she started saying all this stuff. It's like, we don't know what the heck we're doing. I'm always first to raise my hand. If I don't know, then I don't know. Like I can't act like I know stuff that I don't know, right? I know what I know. I know about podcasting. I know that. But when it comes to other things like finances, and I know for me, I've been on my $1 million journey forever and have not gotten there. That's because of my own financial illiteracy. I'm quick to say that because it is what it is. Here's the thing. When you know better, you're supposed to do better. So I'm in my do better stage right now. And part of doing better was, I don't know what she's talking about. And I'm sitting up thinking like, oh my God, like I was clueless. But anyway, that was a good one. And we had a good breakfast meeting this morning where we just, we kind of talked a lot this morning about just stuff. Pretty much a lot about the chamber, about a lot about who we are, what we do, and why are there so many chambers in Gwinnett County. And we kind of broke that down for the people that were asking. So anyway, how's your morning going? I feel like we haven't really talked in forever, y'all. Like everybody's on their journey right now. And Letitia and I used to talk every day, but she's on a journey. I'm on the journey. So the journey is we're just journeying right now, which is crazy. I wrote a new book, right? So somebody in the room said, wait a minute. That's not the book I just bought. No, that's not the book you just bought. I just wrote a new book, which is crazy. So how you doing?
Oh, I am doing super. As you said, and we talked about this on another show. I feel like when you've been in business for a while, for me, it's been over 10 years. And obviously for Audrey, over 20, I believe. I feel like there's a point in your career that you take an inventory of where you are and where you see yourself. We're talking about building this legacy and this $1 million legacy. And so the things is what is it going to take to build that? And we all know that we're in an age of technology. And at the end of the day, just like Audrey, that's her thing. We either are going to get on board or we're going to get left behind. So part of that, taking inventory and looking at how your legacy is going to be moving forward is looking at technology and the things to do. And so for me, that's just pretty much where I am. I'm very excited. I feel like I've always been very focused on what I want my brand to say about me, but a lot more intentional in what that looks like. 10 years being in business, I'm very grateful that this is what I do full time. but more importantly, just wanting to work smart and not hard. At some point, I say time and money are two things that are the most valuable. Time you can't get back once it's gone. Money, once it's lost, you have to do so much more work to even get it back or even to break even. So it's like, now that I'm getting older and wiser and more in my career, it's all about making smart decisions so that I can get more of my time back and still being able to be that multi-million-dollar business that I want to be. So that's where I am, very much intentional and pivoting to do exactly that.
And that's so cool because I think for, I don't know, I can't speak for Georgette, but for me, I'm kind of right there too. Like I feel like, and it's so funny, y'all. God hears you when you think He does not hear you. He will hear you. He will, and when you don't have the strength to do the things that you tell God you want to do, He will do them for you. And He has been doing that all week long. Things have just been happening. I'm like, mouth wide open, like, that's what I was thinking, but I hadn't been able to do it. So, it's like Letitia said, for me, it's a lot about my time. Like I love going to the football game and watching my nephew play football. And I love watching my brother coach football, which I'm always sad when he loses. I'm always sad when they all lose. But I needed to get to a point where I didn't feel guilty about taking the time to do that because I'm looking at my business. I'm looking at my finances. Like I should not. And I said this to my husband. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I just don't feel like I should take a break to go do anything. Like I should not even sleep. He goes, what's wrong with you? What you talk? Because I had a moment last week. I had a rough week and I was like, I shouldn't take time to do anything. I just need to focus on the business. I shouldn't be allowed. He looked at me, and my husband, the people that know him, when I say he said something, that's a rare occasion, y'all. He was like, what's wrong with you? What you mean? And I was like, I'm just not worthy of just taking a break because I need to be just focused on the business like I'm having a meltdown. And he was like, that's not true. So I got these beautiful roses. I got 2 dozen of roses. Y'all can't see them. I could put the camera there, but I got 2 dozen of roses because that was me feeling a hot mess like last week. Not last week, this week. And him saying in his way, you okay, you could take a break. The business is going to be fine. And things just started happening. Like I got the roses on Wednesday. By Wednesday, I was already in meltdown mode. And I didn't, he must have felt that I was really in meltdown mode. He bought me these roses. But I feel better today because I realized there are some things that I don't have pleasure in doing. Looking at trying to build this brand, and I kept saying to myself, what does the brand mean? What does it look like? What does that mean to me? What does it look like? And I have been saying this, and those of you who know me, I've been saying I want to create this company because I looked at Turner Broadcasting and it has all the media outlets, and this is what I've been saying, but I've been doing something totally different. And I think that was for me like eye-opening. And so it's weird that the topic of the show today is what it is saying about you when you're not in the room, because someone said to me, I was in a meeting, you do a lot of stuff. And I hate when people say that. And I'm like, no, I really don't. But I guess in there, I do a lot of stuff. And they said, I'm sitting there having lunch with them. And they're like, you're just great. You do a lot of stuff. And I'm thinking, to me, that's the worst thing you could say to me. So my meltdown started last Friday and it just continued for the rest of the week. Like, I don't do a lot of stuff, though. I do a lot of one thing. But then I looked at it, maybe I do a lot of stuff. And but
it
God
sounds
said,
like
it sounds like.
And the thing is that when people don't really know, that's what it sounds like. So that's why I hate when I tell people my business name, Premier Tax and Business Solutions. They don't hear the business solutions. All they hear is tax. And I get lumped into that, and I hate it.
Is that a bad thing, though, Letitia?
It's not a bad
thing.
Well, no, it's not in a way, because at least they
it's not a bad thing.
On what you do.
But to me, it puts me in a box, and it minimizes what I actually really do. And honestly, this is one of those things when we talked about before about starting your business off the right way. I did it to myself because it's Premier Tax and Business Solutions. So what stands out is tax. Right. Off of that title. So I created that. So so going back to what you said about branding, that's why branding is so important for me, especially now that I have pivoted, that I am very much intentional of making sure people understand that my company is a financial company. It's a wealth building company. It's more than taxes.
Right, taxes.
But if they just looking at the name, that's all they're going to see. So that's why the branding is intentional for that now.
But listen to this, right? So listen to this. I want you to put this in perspective because you have seen my finances more than anybody, not even my husband, right? Look at where you are based on Premier Tax and look at where I am based on marketing and media. You've seen it. Look at the difference. There is a difference. And
that's like anything. That's like in coaching too. Like, what the hell?
Nobody knows what I do. They know you do taxes, right? So there is a difference.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So even though I know you want to do other things, I do other things. And folks, you do a lot. And I'm thinking, yeah, but I really don't do a lot. I do podcasting and podcast production. I really don't do a lot. But because it says media and marketing, and I do podcasts and I got a magazine, it's all me. But they don't see that. They don't. Media. There's not one thing in there for them to say, you know what, she does media. They don't say they say you do a lot. So even though you look at it as being lumped into a box, I feel like that's what has helped you grow the way you've grown, and that's what has stagnated me from growing the way I want to grow.
Yeah, true. No, that's true. That is so true. So true on all levels. Yeah.
Where I am, and I'm okay with that because I feel like somebody out there is struggling and they need to understand that we struggle too. Yes, we do okay. Yes, we go to dinner, but we struggle. We struggle just like everybody. So I just need you guys to understand that sometimes you have to think about where you are and look at that part. Every guru on the planet will tell you, just pick one thing. You've done that. And it has proven to be great. My coach told me, Audrey, pick one thing. He told me that 20 years ago. And I still didn't pick one thing. I had one thing one time. Let me say that to y'all one more time.
Yes.
I had one thing one time in my business life. That was those dolls behind Georgia Head.
The dolls. That's right.
See the dolls behind Georgia Head? That was the one time in my business life that I had one thing. And even with that one thing, I started building out pieces to it. And Georgia was like, Nope. I had a magazine, I had this, I had that, and she was like, we're not doing all that. But I was building out all these things to that one thing. But that was the one time in my business life that I had one thing. So now you're in growth mode, you're in scale mode, and it makes sense because you do offer other services that a lot of entrepreneurs need. But I think for you, I feel like that has been your saving grace.
It absolutely have been my saving grace. I mean, I thank God for it because, like I said, when I started my company, I thought that's all I was going to do is taxes. Not realizing when you're doing people's taxes, a lot of them have businesses or some might say side hustles that need to be legitimized and things of that nature. And so that's where the conversation actually begun for me to get in the bookkeeping and the payroll and all the other stuff. So absolutely, I will definitely, agree with you on that. I will never take that away and I will never stop doing taxes. It's just that, and I get what you're saying. I got to look at it in a different way. I just hate being pigeonholed into that, but not to change my name because I'm not going to do that. It's been built for over 11 years. So, but the thing is, and we talked about this before, that's why branding is extremely important. And honestly, for people out there, there's a difference between branding and marketing and advertising, all those things. And I didn't know that beforehand, and most people don't know. And the biggest thing is branding is exactly, what the show is about. What are they saying about you? That's really branding in a nutshell, is that what are people saying about you? And so that's why for me, I'm being more intentional and getting out of my comfort zone and doing things that I've never done before so that the conversation is, oh, I knew she did taxes, but now I know she does this because the branding is now intentional specifically for that. So no, you're right. I would definitely not take that away. Taxes has definitely been the bread and butter. Has definitely been something that I can count on, that I have done consistently for actually 13 years before I even got into the business and still doing it. It's just that, again, like I said, I definitely want to be known for more than just that. I want to be known for wealth management. I want to be known for being able to, help people to streamline and all that stuff. And it's exciting.
It's exciting. And it's so crazy to see because we haven't talked in a minute, right? But the fact that you said, I want to be known for wealth management.
Wealth management, yeah.
I want to be known for media.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I had been saying, I feel like crying right now. Y'all don't even, thank you for the roses. That's how I feel. Because I'm telling y'all, I have struggled for so long with this. And it was like, I don't want to be a marketer. I don't want, will the company help you get your platform stuff out there? Yep. But guess what? It's going to be on one of my media platforms. I love the media space. It allowed me to be creative over and over and over and over and over again at my pace, right? And so I was trying to be all of these things to all of these people, and I wasn't serving myself. I wasn't very happy. Yes, I was making a little bit of money, but I wasn't very happy because I felt like, well, that's not what you said you wanted to do. That's not what you said you wanted the brand to be. That's not what you want people to think about. So the fact that you said, I am going to be a wealth manager. That's music to my damn ears. I don't know if it's music to yours, but it's definitely music to mine.
It is definitely music to my ears.
Yeah.
I have to say, she does taxes. No, she's a wealth manager. She has a wealth management.
And here's the thing. I did not get away from everything else. I'm still doing taxes and bookkeeping and accounting.
Right. But it incorporates it, but it right, exactly. It incorporates everything about that.
And that's what makes me so excited is that I don't have to change what I've actually already built. Exactly. I am just adding on to it and being more intentional and the branding behind it. And I'm excited about that, for a lot of reasons. But more importantly, we talk about this all the time, and you just kind of alluded to it right a few seconds ago. And I think we talked about it as well, Georgette, is that people have to do what they love and enjoy doing.
I know that's right.
You have to do what you love and enjoy doing, because what ends up happening when you first get into business, we don't know what the heck we're doing. I mean, let's just keep it real. We have no clue. We don't know what we're doing. We're figuring it out as we go. And a lot of times figuring out as we go, it costs us a lot of time and money. The two things that I just talked about. And so, and then the thing that you may love doing, and this may, you, Audrey or Georgia can probably attest to that, may not have actually popped off and made money.
Right.
Then you're like, okay, well, let me go do something else. This is what's popping right now. This is what people want to see and hear right now. But it's not really what I want to do.
Yeah.
But you got to feed your family. So it's like, and then you get stuck into that because guess what? Well, I guess this is what I'm led to do. This is what God say.
No, right, but that's not. I know a lot of stuff I do. God did not tell me to do it. He probably told me not to. Like, no.
Exactly. He didn't tell you that.
I'm not gonna blame it on God. Like, I'm not blaming that lie on God because that's not me.
Right. Yeah. But you follow the money, which is the thing that we always
I will definitely say that.
You cannot chase the money
on Sunday.
You cannot.
Yes.
I think y'all, for everybody that's listening, shout out to everybody who's bought our book on Amazon. I'm seeing the numbers right now. Shout out. Yes. Listen, thank you so much for your support. And thank you to everybody on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Amazon that's watching right now. Listen, we try to keep it real here. It's the Friday Morning Mingle. We try to keep it real. We've all been in business for quite some time, and it's not always easy. Like someone asked me the other day, like, was it easy? I'm like, no, it's not. And when we had a meeting with one young lady, and she was, she came to the meeting with one idea, right? And I said to her, honey, I'm in the media space. They don't care about this space. And she just looked at me because she had this plan. It was beautiful. And she laid it out and it was beautiful, but it was all media, but it was kind of like a different kind of way she was doing. I was like, I'm gonna tell you right now, the reason you're struggling because they don't care about this. It's too much. It's too many platforms out there for them to care about what you're doing. She was trying to raise some money. I was like, they don't care about this. There's too many platforms out there. And I had to be real honest with her because I'm in media and I know what people care about in the space and what they don't. And what she was trying to raise money for, people don't care about that. It's too much. It's too much media out there in that space for people to care about giving you money. They don't care about that. They don't care about a documentary when people just get on Facebook and tell their stories and on Instagram and they tell their own stories. So you're trying to raise money for a documentary. They don't care. They don't care about celebrities no more because everybody is a celebrity. Listen, we streaming live on Amazon and Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook.
We're all celebrities.
To be celebrities. right now. Nobody cares about that. So, and she's like, I really appreciate you being honest. I was like, I'm being honest. So that's probably why you're not raising the money.
And the other thing is that she was lacking the authenticity of who she was. She was lacking her story about who she was, right? Why she got to where she was, who she was when she got there, who she was before that. I mean, people are still interested in people's stories. You know, and how they get to places to become successful, right? What was their drive? You know, what was their story behind that? It definitely lacked that, because when she was sharing it, it kind of got boring. It was like, it sounded like the same thing everybody else says that they want to do in a business, right? And you're not setting yourself
they've been doing
apart.
Already. And it was 3 people in the room coaching her along. Like, we weren't coaching, we were just kind of sitting down,
sharing.
But it was 3 people doing the same thing, kind of sitting there like this.
Yeah. Because it was like, because we heard about her story. We kind of heard a little bit about it, but none of that was in anything she was sharing.
She's like, no, I mean, I've been saving that part. Why? Somebody else said, why are you saving that part? Like, that's the story.
Yeah.
You know, so I think moving forward, we're all building these brands, but we need to become known for that. So that's Letitia, when you were saying wealth management, I feel like that's the personal side of our brand. Yes. Like, we've been building the business side of our brand, but now we have to start building the personal side of our brand. I think I've been doing that for a minute now with Good Morning Gwinnett, but I feel like it's not strong enough, because people that don't live in Gwinnett County, they hear me talking in other countries, but they still don't know what Gwinnett County is. So I feel like the personal brand is where I'm leaning to build right now, and I'm going to do it in my space, which is media. But I think it took me having a meltdown and my husband bringing me crabs legs and roses for me to pick myself back up off the ground and say, okay, I want to say something else, but we're trying to keep it PG for YouTube. Get your ish together, girl, and get moving.
And since we're keeping it real, my apologies, Georgia. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good.
No, so since we're keeping it real, let me say this as well, because we know this happens. So now that you've made that decision, that's the direction you're going to go into, you already know stuff is about to come everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Challenge to see if that's what you really want to do. It's going to be coming. Just going to be coming. Just going to be coming. The great thing is that you're not new to this. You're true to this. So when they come, and we know that they're going to come, you can see and recognize that and be able to say, you know what? I see you. You know, I'm ready. Let's go. And that's the great thing. That's the beauty behind that. People need to understand that it is part of the process. When you make a decision, whatever the decision is that you're going to do, you're right. And no decision is still a decision. The thing is, you got to understand and respect the process and respect the universe. It's going to respond to whatever you put out there. You got to respect it and know it's coming.
Yep.
But if you actually are true and believe what you say you're going to do, you got to do it in spite of. Even though your bank account may say, girl, I don't see this. Because what does account balance say? And what you say you need to do to make it happen, woo, I don't see how them two ends going to meet. Guess what? You still have to do it anyway. On my way going to the meeting this morning, you know, and I know Audrey said earlier, we were just having a conversation, but sometimes we need that, you know, sometimes, and that's the great thing about these breakfasts is that there is no real agenda. It really is truly networking, getting to know everyone, you know, kind of seeing how we can help one another and just really having a conversation. And something beautiful always
happens. Yeah.
Always comes out of it. And so that's the great thing about it. And so a client, you know, called me on the way coming. And, you know, we talked about this in the meeting, like, dang it, it's 8:15. I'm getting ready to walk into a meeting, but okay, let me take off that side and let me listen to what this client is saying. Now, this particular client, because not everybody has all of my numbers, she is a huge client. So therefore, she's earned to get all of my numbers. But she was calling because she is having some challenges in her business. And she realized that I can't, and as an entrepreneur, we know that I can't just sit here and allow the stuff to happen to me. I have to make things happen regardless of what I see. And I got to go back to the basics. So what she did was she started making some phone calls and having some conversation. That's a lot of times we forget about people that we already have in our network, whether it's somebody that we spoke to a year ago, 2 years ago, 10 years. And out of that call, just yesterday, she told me this happened last night, that she is now being put in front of someone who's a decision maker that could possibly help her get into several of the hospitals, which is Northside here in Atlanta. And if anybody in Atlanta, you know, Northside Hospital is huge. So that one contract could definitely take her to multi-million-dollar status overnight. So the whole point that I'm making with this is that her business is not where she wants it to be at right now. She's having some challenges. And so most people will fold when things are like that and stuff keep coming at you. But as an entrepreneur, you cannot. And like I told her this morning, this is when you go from being average and ordinary to extraordinary. Not when things are going great, but when you are being challenged. This is the true testament of whether or not you really are the boss CEO that you say that you are. They don't show you that on social media. You just see the good stuff.
You see the good stuff, right? Right. You see
crazy because, you know, and the thing too is, had she not been who she was and had her business not been what it was, I think about this. I went into tech. I think my daughter was 3 years old. I took an A++ class. I've been in tech for a long time, but I'm like A++, right? So I took A++, didn't understand the importance of A++, but I always knew I liked tech. And my daughter was 3. So to put that in perspective for those of you who are listening, she's 32 right now. So I didn't just fall into tech. Huh?
What's A++? So
A++ is a technical. It's a technical language that you learn how to code with. So I took that when she was 3.
Okay.
I was trying to figure out what I was going to do because I knew I had a daughter. I wanted to do something different, and I went into tech then. And then I was like, yeah, this is too much. I don't want to do this, right? But when you fast forward to 2013, where I picked tech back up again, when I learned how to develop our TV channels for her too, which Georgette and I launched in 2013, I learned how to develop again. And I learned how to not really so much develop, but I learned how to find the best tech and put them together and make them work. I'm good at that, right? I'm really good at that. And so I did that. And so her tube lasted for a long time to like, I think last year, which was up almost 10 years. So, but that was me taking this tech and making that tech talk to this tech and creating a business around it that people paid us for. And we got to 100,000 subscribers on our channel. So when I think about my journey, I think about where I started and I think about the things that I love. I think I produced my first show in 2003. It was 21 years ago. So whatever 21 years from whatever we are right now, that's when I produced my first show. I have been in these same spots forever, right? But it has taken me that long to figure out how to pull it all together, make it all make sense. So now I can have a cohesive brand. So when I walk into the room and what people say about me is that, you know, Audrey's in media.
Yeah.
She has all these media outlets that she owns. That's what I want folks to say.
But again, I think all of that, like you said, takes time, right? Because it takes time to get to know all those parts of you, right? It takes time to actually say, this is what I want to have happen and not chase everything that shows up. You know what I mean? For some people, it does. For some people, they are just focused. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. You know, from the time I was 4, this is what I know wanted to do. And they stay consistent. But then there's some people who have to, you know, that's part of their journey too. What works best in this space? I'll take that. What works best in that space? I'll take that. You know, so sometimes it's just the journeys. Like I kind of like Letitia was saying, it's the journey, and you have to kind of stay consistent, but also really know what drives you and what you're passionate about. You know, I think because that shows up in all the spaces that we work in. It's just, what do you want to take a hold up and say, I'm just going to run with that part of it. You know, I think we just get lost in that.
For me, I've always been like, I've been in media for a long time. I think my very first newsletter was called Friends of Mine. I think I told y'all about that newsletter. It was called Friends of Mine, right? And God, this was a long time ago. That was my very first newsletter. I learned how to do desktop publishing. So so back then, y'all, the only way you can do desktop publishing, I think, was through Microsoft. Like Microsoft was the only one that had a desktop publishing program. I got a job in desktop publishing after I left the hospital. So I was doing desktop publishing. So I've been doing it for a long time, but I couldn't see how to make money, which is where I've been like for the last 5 years with Good Morning Gwinnett, right? Even though people around me making money on the platform, I don't know why I couldn't see it. Like, well, how? I don't know. And that's what I kept telling myself. I don't know how. So fast forward to right now, after having my meltdown, it was like, Audrey, you don't see the money because you haven't asked anybody for the money for the thing that you love. That's the bottom line.
Yes.
That's the bottom line of everything. The thing that I love, which is podcasting and newsletters and magazines, which is what I put out, which is what I've been doing forever. I just don't ask for the money. Yeah. Now, that's a problem that I have to solve within myself. And the question I have to ask myself is, why don't you ask for the money? I have to figure that part out. But now I know that is the problem. Then I got to figure out how to solve the problem. And I'm a problem solver for everybody else. I ain't a problem solver for myself.
Everybody
come to me with a problem, right? I could probably help you solve it. Me personally, solving for myself, cannot. And I'm being transparent. Yeah, this is just what it is. I'm not a problem solver for myself.
That's funny.
Anybody else?
But the other thing you said I think was key is like, being able to see the money in what it is that you do. Right? It's seeing like, okay, well, this is what I do. This is what I love to do. Well, where does the money come from? How can I make money doing that? I think that's a big key, because a lot of times you can be passionate about something, but you're not sure how to shift that in order to get money from what it is that you love doing.
And that's the problem with a lot of people when it comes to business, is that, you got to do your research, you got to do your homework. And especially right now, we are in a very different market right now when it comes to how technology is and how fast it is moving. You look at where we are now for where we were 10 years ago. And so we're seasoned enough to have been in business to realize that what you're doing now is not going to work. If you've been doing the same thing for the last 10 years, it's not applicable to where we are right now.
Right.
So that's the first thing. You got to recognize and understand that what I was doing before to build a business may not be the thing that's going to sustain a business. You just said earlier, Audrey, because there's so many other people that's doing what we're doing.
Right.
So you have to find ways to figure out, how do I stay true to what is it I love doing, what I want to do, and also be able to stand out. Like in a meeting earlier when, one of the guys was talking about the new office that he's in, that there's so many people that's in my field that's in there, and he was like, oh, wow, I wonder if she knows that. And for me, I don't look at anybody else's competition.
Yeah.
There's only one Premier Tax and Business Solutions. There's only one of my company that's doing the wealth management. Nobody is going to offer and do what I do. And so I think a lot of times people get so caught up in trying to compete, and it's like, but do you have the bandwidth to be able to compete? I know I am not going to be able to compete with the bigger companies, and I don't try to. So the thing is that do your research and your homework to see whatever it is that you're trying to pivot to now, whatever it is, can you make money in the current industry in the way that it is where we are right now? And if you can, what is it that you need to do that is applicable and relevant now that you can? And that's the biggest thing. I think a lot of times people they keep going from one thing to the other, because a lot of things is all about, well, what's popping now? What is everybody talking about now? And it's not saying that's a bad thing, because you can, but if you don't have the resources, whether it's the finances or the connections, because let's be clear, a lot of times you can have $0 in the bank, but if you know the right person that knows the right person, that's worth way more than what you have in your bank account. Absolutely. And all of that is key. So you got to do your homework, and you got to be very clear in what is it you're trying to do, and make sure that whatever area you're pivoting to, that it is something that you can start and maintain, and realize that it may be happening organically. And for us, we know that means it takes time. Organically is just another way of saying it's going to take some time for it to happen. It's not going to blow up tomorrow.
But the other thing too, to what you just said, you're right about that, because there's an old saying, and someone repeated it to me yesterday. That says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Same thing. So the same thing goes for you and your business. And I can tell you that this is happening to me right now. So the minute I made a decision that this is what I'm going to focus on, I'm a media company. I'm not a marketing company. I am a media company. I produce media in my company. My company is media. The minute that happened, it shifted. It was and I'm looking like, But the other thing too, somebody said this to me, David Shands over at the Social Proof Podcast, right? So shout out to David Shands and Donnie Wiggins over in Norcross. I think they're in Norcross. They got they got the #1 small business podcast in the world, right? Right here in our right next door to us, right? So I'm talking to him. I was like, David, I do this podcast called Good Morning Gwinnett. Been doing it for, I think at that point it was 3 years. Been doing it for 3 years, not really making like I make money, but not real money. He said to me, have you asked anybody? That's all he said. And I'm looking like, yeah, it can't be that simple. And for 2 years, I've been saying it can't be that simple. Can't be that simple. I mean, because his podcast, y'all, his podcast is making millions. So I know podcasts make money. There are a bunch of podcasts making millions. Mm-hmm. Why is it mine? Well, I haven't asked anybody, right? I haven't asked anybody. I've been doing all these other things to avoid asking people for the money. I already know that's my issue. I'm transparent. That's my issue. I've been doing a whole bunch of other ish rather than doing what he told me to do was ask somebody. He said, did you ask anybody? And I was like, well, no, I didn't. And he left it just like that. And he's really a nice guy. And he just, okay. And he walked away. And I'm like, oh, that can't be it. Well, that's really it, y'all. Yeah. And then I had this conversation. I said to her, because we
were getting ready to have the conversation. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, today, like I haven't asked anybody, and I know what I do is amazing because people have told me, but I don't need people to fluff me to tell me that. I already know it.
I need the people.
I also know that I haven't asked anybody for the money for the thing that I want to do. I do all these other things, and I ask for money for those things. Then I got to try to convince people why those are the things they should buy, which I really don't want to do that, but I do it anyway. So the teacher said this all the time. It's a damn mindset.
Yeah,
right?
It is. I
got to go back to the basics and my mindset. And like, girl, what you got going on in there? Because you need to go fix that because it's me. Yeah, and I don't ever blame people for my shortcomings. It's me. And I have to go back to the basics. I have to go back to the time when all I had was one focus. That's them dollars behind Georgette. What was I doing when I had that one focus? Who did I listen to? What did I read? What did my day look like? I have to go back to that so I can, because we had investors for that. People gave us money because they saw the vision. They gave it to us.
But
right?
we asked.
But why did you see the vision? You asked, but why did you see the vision? Because you were passionate. About that, and you were committed to that. Yes, we were. And you stayed focused to that. And that is the whole key. And it's something that you loved. Yeah. People can see it. They can hear it in your voice. They see it in what you do. Like we talked about before, when we talk about love language, but just language in general. For me, your words and your actions have to be in alignment with each other. And when they're not in alignment with each other, that says what your true passion, your true intention is. So that during that time frame, you was all about the dolls. So focusing on that one thing made it easier for you because you already had the one thing. You were passionate about it, which means that the mindset didn't care about if I got 100 no's or not. I'm going to ask because this is what I like and I enjoy. So you're correct. You have to go back to that mindset. But before going back to that mindset, you got to first establish, what is it that I like doing? What I enjoy doing? What makes me
media? I've always liked media. I've always liked media, and I've always liked tech. Like I know what I like doing. I just couldn't see the dollar signs. Like I could not see those. So anybody who presented me with an opportunity where I saw the dollars, that's what I rolled with. But I never stopped doing media and tech. It was always a side thing. Like I've always liked media and tech, but it was always on the side. It was like my side piece, right? Everything else became my main squeeze.
You know what happens with the side piece? You know what happens with the side piece? They usually get replaced at some point.
I never replaced the side piece. The side piece has always been there. So I never replaced my side piece. My
so you had a loyal side piece.
Got replaced though. Because the next main
a loyal side piece.
Yeah, a loyal side piece.
I got a loyal side piece, but the main squeeze, you got to go because here come this other one that said I can do this and this.
So you had multiple side pieces. Okay.
No. I had one side piece. I had multiple main squeezes.
That's right.
That's even worse.
That is worse.
That's even worse. You had too many main squeezes.
I got one side piece that's been faithful, sitting on the side, just wait for me to make them the main piece.
That's
The main
true. The
squeeze.
main squeeze. That's true, though. That is so true. And it's so funny. I mean, I think you're right in that sense, or like the main piece and the side piece, because I think when I've been doing a lot of self-development, a lot of self-empowerment stuff for years, I love that stuff. I mean, I introduced Audrey to The Secret. I'm introduced to
She
that
did.
whole spirituality,
She
self-improvement in
did.
a work thing. And I mean, years ago. And then I got disillusioned again about how can I craft this for myself to make some money. And then that took me on the thing of, well, I could do this, but I always come back. I always come back to self-development and inner journey work, because like you said, Letitia, it is about the mindset. Now, I don't care how many, things you understand and learn about business. If you don't believe that that is for you, if you don't believe that you can make money doing it, if you don't believe a lot of things, that you're not worthy of any of that, I don't care how much knowledge you have. It's really not going to help you.
Exactly.
It's really not going to help you. And it's so funny. I love music. I love listening to music. So I would listen to Freedom by George Michael the other day. I love that song. And he has this one line that says that I forgot to be who I was meant to be. And I was like, oh my God, it's just like, I literally, it just hit my heart, because I do believe I have forgot to be who I was meant to be. And I'm always here to encourage people. I love, people come to me to talk, people come to me to coach, and I also love different modalities. I love to be able to show people other things that they could utilize to help them to grow themselves. And I realize at the end of the day, that's what I do. That's what I always do, whether it is in business, whether it is in romance.
It's just been your side piece.
It's just been my side piece, and Audrey knows I struggled with that for many, many years, but now I am.
Thing, Georgette.
I don't know. It probably is so creative. It's crazy, and I literally had a card deck for almost 6 years and had done nothing with it.
Even
I
when
love
I
my cards.
Solutions like, gee, put it on Amazon.
I love my cards, right? They're not on Amazon yet. They will, because I'm rebranding that again.
Look, can't put my own solutions together, but I'm telling you, put your thing on Amazon.
And that's how it is sometimes. You can't see that. I could help people and coach people, and I literally was coaching somebody from California. Now she got journals. She's busy. She's doing so many things. She literally thanked me for coaching her, because she is doing amazing work. But yet I found myself still struggling. I'm like, what is that about? You know what I mean? It's about getting out of your own way. And truly, I believe not just knowing your purpose, but doing something with it.
So
I
what
can know
are
my
they saying
purpose
about
all
you,
day,
Georgette?
but what am I doing?
So what are they saying about you?
That I'm there to listen, right? That I help people look at things differently all the time.
Okay.
That's just what I do. I definitely show them different modalities, things that they never thought about using to help them to get through different things in their life. So yeah, I am what I call a self-empowerment person. That's what I do, and that's what I'm. Go ahead, Aura.
It's so funny because Georgette is really big on energy and like stuff that I grew up in Newark, right? Wasn't nobody studying energy in Newark. Let me just keep that real. We weren't studying energy, we weren't trying to figure out, which sign. None of that stuff was happening. I shout out to all my peeps in Newark. I love y'all for life. But that's not what we were thinking about. Even when I went to college, all I did was play around and eat sunflower seeds. I wasn't even thinking about energy then. So here come this woman in my life, and she's telling me to read this book and watch this video, and this genie coming out of a bottle. I'm like, what is this? Right? What is this? And then I'm looking at it, and then I can't stop looking at it. And I'm looking at it every night over and over and over. And it started to change my mindset. But right around that time, it made me more focused. Then they told me to read this book, Think and Grow Rich. Oh, that sounds good to me. Let me read that book. Then I started reading it over. Then I got the audio. So every time, and the audio is about 9 hours. I will listen to it. Oh, all of those things started to shape my mindset, right? But here's what happened. We get so busy, we get so caught up in the daily grind that we forget about the things that helped us get to that place, right? And I know for me, I have felt lost probably for the last 5 years. Even though I've been doing the things that I say I love, I've been looking at, okay, I want to buy this mansion. Anybody that knows me, I want to buy some land. I still want my 40 acres and the mule and a couple of horses. I want mine. So I've been saying that, and I've been trying. I gotta fix. And so my he's not like that. He doesn't think like that. He's very logical. Maybe I'm a little illogical. That's why God paired us up together to keep me down here on earth. Because I'm very fairy, which I'm okay with that. Most fish are.
Fairy,
but
yes.
I want to get the land. I want the 40 acres and all this kind of stuff. And I've been saying that for years, right? Even before my mom passed, and this had to be like 15 years ago, I was like, did you guys ever own anything? And she said, we own some land, but they took it from us. When she said that, it triggered something in my head, like, well, I need to own land, and nobody's gonna take my land once I own it. So anything that was gonna get me to the land, if they said, Audrey, we need you to become an insurance agent because you're gonna make millions of dollars. I became an insurance agent because I'm gonna make millions of dollars. Then I gotta tell people why they need insurance. Oh my God, that's draining. That I don't want to do that. That was me. Mm-hmm. Audrey, you sell these vitamins because people need to cleanse themselves. You're gonna make millions. I'm gonna sell this. That was me, right? Because in my back of my mind, all I saw was the land. It wasn't until I got to Georgia to Atlanta that I was riding down 85 and I see this building and I was like, I want that. Turner Broadcasting. I said that. I started on my journey. And what I said to myself, I don't care what happens, Audrey, you will not stop doing Good Morning Gwinnett. So Good Morning Gwinnett is going to be your side piece. Just as long as you keep it fed, you keep it going. That's what I said. And that's what I've been doing. But here's the thing. I've been very unhappy because my side piece, I really want to be my main squeeze. And I'm doing all these other things. And it wasn't, right? So I listen, somebody need to hear me whine today. And I'm sorry if you didn't. But I'm looking at y'all. So y'all stuck around. So y'all need to hear me whine. So thank you.
I heard something else in that. And I don't know, Georgette, if you heard it. One of the things that, we talked about, and I think, and you and I, Audrey, we talked about this. I forgot where we were, what were some of the things that kind of changed you? And one of those things was in 2010, I went to a Millionaire Mind Intensive 3-day seminar, and it changed my whole trajectory. And so one of the things that, and I'm summing it up, that I heard, and that you have to figure out your why. So that weekend after I came back, I created my vision board, and I still have this vision board till this day. And it's a huge vision board, nice little pretty pictures and words and things. And, it's well over 13 years old now, but it has this mansion, this car, my kids, and all these things. And so the whole point behind a vision board, if most people understand, is to give you a big snapshot of what you want your life to look like. Now, don't get me wrong. Vision boards can be a lot of different things. It could be just affirmations, whatever it is. But what it is supposed to do is it's supposed to make you stop whatever you're going through and redirect you when you look at it to get back. So what you hear people call it now, or what they say, is your why. So for you, Audrey, what I heard is your why was you wanted to buy land. You wanted to make sure that you had something that no one's going to take away from you. But just like how you just said, what happens is that we get so busy being caught up. And like you said, you were chasing the money in all these different areas, not going back to why am I chasing the money? I'm chasing the money because the purpose is for me to get this land. The purpose for me to build my legacy for my family, so that, and the story is my mom had land that got taken from her. So I have to take the torch and pass it on to my daughter and to my granddaughter, because my mom wasn't able to do that for whatever reason back then. But I am going to make sure that's not going to happen to us. So because of that, this is my why. This is my story. So everything I do right now has to be intentional to get me to that. What happens a lot of times is, I know for me, it happened to me a while ago. I have the vision board put up in my little office area looking real nice, and I'm just passing right on by it like it's just a regular old fixture on the wall. Because that's what it becomes. It just becomes that. Yes. It's like your pictures that you put on there. And so then it's like, oh, wait, it's not just a picture. It is supposed to, when you see it, it's supposed to give you some energy or make you excited or redirect you. But when you get so caught up in being busy doing other stuff, that's all it became. It's a picture on the wall. And when it didn't become a picture on the wall is when I had people come in to paint and I had to take everything off the wall. And then when I went to go put it back, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to hang this back up. I'm not, because I don't want it just to be another picture in the wall. I still have it to where I can see it every day, but I have it intentional in a spot to where I have to literally move it to be able to walk in an area, which forces me now to go back and look at it. So now it's back into my everyday routine when I'm doing my affirmations and all these things, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay. And that's a lot of times what we have to do, because we do get busy. And a lot of times we don't even realize we do a lot. We really do.
Yeah.
And you don't realize it because it's just like second nature. You know, we've already got up this morning, got breakfast, you know, had a conversation with the network.
Drove here and there.
We done drove here, got set up on the computer. Now we have another meeting. We've done all of that, and it's not even noon.
Right.
And we haven't even done the business part yet. We haven't worked yet.
And this is a light day.
Right. And that still has to be done.
That's crazy. But what happened, what you're talking about is that it lost its purpose, right? Your vision lost its purpose.
Yeah.
Right. How do you get that purpose back? Like you said, again, sometimes it has to be intentional. It has to be intentional that I refocus on my purpose. That I refocus on why I'm here. You know, it's so funny. You were saying something triggered you and you had a breakthrough. And I remember, so you can have a breakthrough, a good one and a bad one, right? So my bad breakthrough when it came to my being excited about being in a blissful state, because I had a company called Blissful Woman, right?
So indeed.
I
love that name too.
I still have it. The thing that really challenged me was a word that I heard for myself, and that's why I really started focusing on the word and the energy that words brought me. Because when me and Audrey, we had a show, we did a session with a gentleman who read your angels and did all of these things that we are like all excited about all the time, and it was a form. He had us fill out stuff, and then he printed a form and said, okay, this is how many angels you have, a male, 2 men or 2 female angels, whatever it was. But anyway, it was a message that an angel was supposed to give you. And the message for me literally changed my life. It was the message for me was that my angel said I was dynamic. And I remember reading that and thinking to myself, who the heck? That's supposed to be my angel. Why are they saying I'm dynamic? Because that is not me. And that literally shifted how I realized I felt about myself, because even though me and Audrey had did those dolls and I have done a romance book, I have talked to women about their own personal, intimate things, all of these things. And, I never saw myself as dynamic ever. And that really shut me down. I cannot even tell you how bad that made me feel, because I realized, why do I not think that I am dynamic? Like, what was it about that word that really triggered me to not do my business anymore? Because I really felt then I had to work at myself. I felt, I was telling these people to do these things and be blissful. And yet I realized one word could shake me to the core. And that was the other reason I put the dynamic in my business, because I realized I needed to have it in front of me all the time, that I am a dynamic woman. But trust me, it came with a lot of years of work, of overthinking. You know what I'm saying? And it's so you can have those break moments, and they could be good and they could be bad. And again, even the bad part is how you look at it, because it really was a challenge for me. And that's when I decided to do my words, because that's when a message came to me to do these words, because if that word shook me so much, I know that there's plenty of times people do not speak powerful words to themselves or to other people. And that's when I chose to do the I Am You Are words, card deck, because I just felt it was needed, and it was part of my purpose to do that.
What's crazy though, as you were saying that, and I know this is true. We all have our own baggage, right? That we bring to life. We all have it. We got our own crap that we bring to life, right? For some reason, my crap is around money. So I need to figure out what that is, because I have a money block there. I know I do. And it's something about money. I don't know what it is, but I need to go figure it out, because that's what's been holding me back. For you, it's words, right?
Yes, worthiness and words. Yeah.
It's worthiness and words. For me, it has something to do. So we bring all that stuff into our business lives and wonder why we're stuck, right? I got to remember I have to remember, y'all, that YouTube will slam us for not, because some of the things that want to come out my mouth right now should only be said past 12 o'clock at night. But we bring all that stuff into our business life, and we wonder why we're struggling, why we're doing things. And you have to sometimes just stop and take a minute to look at where you are and figure out what it is. Now, I know that I have a trigger around money, right? There's something there. I have a blockage around money. I don't know what it is, but I got to figure it out because it's kind of been holding me back,
Yes.
right? I'll get money, I'll spend money, I'll get money, I'll spend a lot of money, I'll get a lot of money, I'll spend a lot of money. I've done that quite a few times. Quite a few times. Got a lot of money, spent a lot of money, got a lot of money, spent a lot of money. But here's the thing, I'm not a frivolous spender. So anytime I spend money, it's all back into my business. I'm not. When I was younger, yeah, I party hard, I spent hard. But for my business, I'm not that way. So we bring stuff into our lives. It disrupts our lives.
Yes.
Sometimes the stuff that we bring into our business could destroy us as people and our business, right? But if you know that these things are problems for you, you got to figure out how to fix them, right?
Yep.
And for me, I have to figure out who I need to talk to figure out what my issue is with money. Why am I not asking for the money when people are asking? I know that about myself, and I'm saying this live to probably thousands and thousands of people right now, and it's okay because people need to hear this.
It's okay.
There are some things I didn't want to talk about.
And there it is. There it is.
I'm better now. I'm getting better. I feel like I'm in recovery. I'm getting better every day.
Let me tell you something. We're all in recovery.
We just had this conversation 2 days ago, Arju, when I was calling you and we were talking about, can I be transparent about that right quick? About the P&L?
Yeah, I said to them, listen, I said yesterday, my accountant said, did you see your P&L? I was like, yeah, I saw it. But I said that. I was like, I saw the P&L, right? I saw my P&L. Right. So I look at my home account. I'm like, shit, I got to transfer money from my home account to my business account because the business is sucking right now. But what's crazy about that is that it's all about the change, which is the weirdest thing. But it didn't change until I changed.
Exactly. So, but it never does.
And I hear you.
It never does until you change.
I hear you. Change until I change. So as soon as I made the decision that, Audrey, what do you want people to say about you when you're not in the room? I want them to say Audrey has a successful media company. That's what I want them to say. And what does that media company do? We do media on all types of shit. It's a newsletter, it's a podcast, it's a media.
Bleep.
Media. That's it.
Exactly.
Media.
Yeah. We're gonna keep it going, Georgette.
Bleep.
But the thing is, though, you just said something very powerful. You said that there's a blockage when it comes to money. And then in our conversation, and you was like, yeah, I saw it. And I said, but we need to have a conversation about it. And I said, I didn't know what you're saying. I don't need to have a conversation about it. The P&L says everything. And my thing to you was like, it does. But this is why we need to have a conversation. So even though, and we just said this earlier, your P&L may say you're not where you want to be at right now, we got to go in and dive deeper into why you're not there. And even though you said that, you've made the shift, but we still have to have a conversation what that looks like. Because at the end of the day, you wanting to be known as this media company, guess what? That's going to take funds to be known as that. So still having a conversation with your accountant in regards to what that plan is going to look like, we need to talk about that so that you're being very intentional and where you putting the money behind to make these things happen. But you just said it yourself, but we don't, two things I feel like happens a lot of times with us. Well, actually three. One, we don't take the time, a lot of us, to figure out and identify what those blockages are.
Right.
Or two, we know what it is, but then we don't want to go and get the help
deal with it.
Right. Or three, you have the resources to get the help. And it's like, I don't want to deal with that. Or I don't want to hear what you said to say. Well, I already know that. Well, dang it, if you knew it, you would be doing it. Or it's not comfortable.
Or the other thing too is that they don't feel like it's what's holding them back, or they don't feel like this is what
this is
why this is happening, because it can't be because I just feel unworthy. You know what I'm saying? It can't be because of that, or it can't be because of this. But like what you said though, I believe we're all in recovery because we all got crap. You know what I'm saying? And people don't believe that, you know what I'm saying? Then
plenty of crap.
Right. And if people don't believe
that, something else, we're trying to keep it PG.
Exactly. And if people don't believe that, that means that they are in more crap denial, because you know what I'm saying? We all bring baggage, whether it's from our relationships or the relationships that we've had, you know what I mean? Relationships from our parents, it all shows up. It all
And
shows
as
up.
long as we live on this
Exactly.
earth, it's going to
Exactly.
continue because you don't know what's going to trigger you. You
Right.
think that you've gotten past something, even going through counseling training, until something happens.
Oh, something happens.
I
Yeah.
still got
Exactly.
more work to do in that.
Yes.
But it's life.
Exactly.
It's just a part of life. We that's not something that we're going to be able to control. As long as we're living on this earth, it's part of life. But
Right.
you can't say you want to be whatever that thing is you want to say and run away from the very thing that you need to work on to help you get there. So I'm saying that to say to my sister, I'm gonna still have those conversations with you about your P&L.
listen. At the end of the day, listen. For those of you who don't know, we are the women of the GWC, and we are on the Friday Morning Mingle, and we get together quite often. So I know we're gonna have those conversations, and I welcome those conversations. I know for me, it's just a matter of I had to get to this point where I'm having a mental breakdown when I know I'm effed up when my husband says something. When he has something to say to me about me and how I'm acting, I know something is really wrong with me, because that is rare, right? When he said, "What you talking about?" When he says something, I'm in a bad state at that point. And most of the time, it's always about my business. Like 99.99% of the time, when I'm in that state, if there's nothing wrong with the family, it's about my business, right? And he knows I have had many restless nights about my business. So it's always about my business. So for me, I had to get to the point where I had to say, you know what, this is what I really want. This is what's really gonna make me happy. I know what I gotta do. I have to do these things, and I have to ask somebody to pay me for the thing that I love. I have not done that. When David Shands said that to me, instead of me embracing what he said, I was like, yeah, that can't be it. That I got to be doing something. I need to be interviewing folks. Right, that can't be it.
Because we don't feel sometimes it's that simple, right? Yes, exactly.
Right.
That's what it is.
I was like, that can't be. And I blew it off. I blew it completely off. Like, that can't be it. Like, now me blowing off him, and he's making,
right. I was gonna say that he's making
for an episode, and I'm saying that can't be. Like, girl, that's my fault, right? So I know we're gonna have these conversations. We meet up a lot, y'all. So if you want to become a member of our community, please go to GwinnettWomen'sChamber.com, and we would love to have you. So I know we'll have those conversations, and I welcome those conversations. I want, like yesterday, that breakfast about estate planning, which was a really important breakfast to me, because like you said, we're all on our run to create legacies and things like that. That was eye-opening for so many reasons, and we need to have more money conversations. That's a good title for something. We need to have more money conversations, because people, they think they know, right? They are avoiding things because they don't want to know, right? And here it is, because of all of these things, we're stuck in certain places. And you said it before, you got people who doing millions of dollars and still stuck. And I'm like, in my mind, when I tell you, teacher, stuff like that does not click in my mind. For people to have millions of dollars and be stuck, it just don't click in my mind. And Georgette say to me all the time, or it don't mean that they're doing great because they got millions of dollars. Like, and in my mind, like, why not?
There's still
all
people.
The time.
They're still right.
All the time.
There's still
when I hear that,
they still have money
when
issues.
I hear that,
but
that
different
does
times
not make sense in my mind. I'm telling y'all, it doesn't. And when she always brings me back to every, like, well, because they got the money, and I'm thinking, well, why? Because in my life, that is like for my business, that's the only thing that's missing. That is it. That, like, the millions, that's what's missing. And then I say to myself, what you gonna do when you get them?
But I was gonna say, but you know what?
My husband say to me, or you don't give all. He says this all the time. You gonna give all the money away again? I'm like, I'm not gonna give it all away. Not this time. He says it to me. He says it to me, and I'm like, I'm not gonna give it all away, because I have been known to just give away because I want to help everybody. I ain't gonna do that shit no more. So that ain't gonna happen. Don't listen. I ain't gonna happen.
But you know what you just said? You said, oh, well, that's part of, if you have the money for your business and stuff, everything will be fine. But I can, this is just me saying this, is that I think a lot of people who needed the money and was in that situation believe that too. And then when they got the money and got all the things that they needed, they realized there's other stuff that has nothing to do with the money. You know what I mean? And we hear time and time again, just like Letitia said, she has clients who have money. We hear this from Star. I have all this money. I could do all of these things, but they're still unhappy, because at the end of the day, it's really not about, we think it's about the money, We believe it's about the money, but when you have the money, it's never about the money.
No, it's not.
It's, you know what I mean? So that's why they're in those situations, because it really isn't about the money.
It's not.
You know?
It's not.
All right, listen, y'all. We at the top of our hour. We actually 4 minutes over an hour. I know this was a great conversation. I know. Anytime, listen, I like to keep it real. So does the ladies of GWC. If you like what we're saying, you can come on the GWC on the Friday Morning Mingle too. You got to be a member of the GWC. I'm just saying. So GwinnettWomen'sChamber.com. Be sure to check us out. We have virtual classes. We have virtual live streams. This is live. We're streaming right now on 3 pages on Facebook, 1 page on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Amazon. Shout out to everybody in Amazon. I love you guys for supporting us. We are authors. Our books are in the carousel right there. You see them there. Also, subscribe to the Good Morning Gwinnett show. You can subscribe to it on your Alexa. It's there in the carousel. You can also subscribe to it on your podcast platform, whether you listen to it on Apple, Google, or Spotify. Is there. We want to thank you again for listening and listen to us rant and rave about our life. But this is the life of an entrepreneur. 3 to be exact on this show. This is our life. This is what we do. And we try to keep it real because we don't want people to think that it's all glitz and glamour. It's not. We don't want people to think that we don't have bad days, because we do. We don't want people to think that it's going to be easy, because it's not. You know, we don't want you to even think that, you know, it's sexy. It probably is once we get to a certain level. But right now,
you know, it's
sexy.
not.
Well, let me just say this. Sex is relative. Let me say that.
We're sexy.
It could
whatever.
be sexy to somebody. It could be sexy to somebody right now. So I'm gonna say sex is relative. It could be sexy for you right now. You know, at this stage, it could be sexy. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. You know, that could be sexy. Just you saying the words. You know, but for most of us, that ain't sexy. Not until we get to there, we can fly to private and drink champagne and mimosas at 10 o'clock on the first thing out on private. That's when it becomes sexy for me. I don't know about y'all. That's when it's gonna become sexy for me. And I probably won't be going anywhere because I'm not a traveler. Anyway. All right, so if you guys want to say how they can contact you, and then we're gonna get off this thing because we got some work to do. You muted.
I was muted. Okay, Letitia Smith, Premier Tax and Biz Solutions. You can always give us a call at 678-557-4457 or go to our website at Premier, that's PREMIER taxga.com.
You can reach out to me at Georgette at Dynamic Life Enterprise, or visit the website at dynamiclifeenterprise.com. Check out my empowering cards, my EFT tapping information, and my new campaign called Kind Speak.
All right. And so I am Audrey Bell Kearney. I am the host of the Good Morning Gwinnett show. If you want to know more about Good Morning Gwinnett, go to goodmorninggwinnett.com. Be sure to subscribe to the show on any podcast platform, Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart, Deezer, all of them, Amazon Music. I'm there. So you can subscribe to the show on all of those channels. And also go to youtube.com and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And that's youtube.com/@GoodMorningGwinnett. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back again next Friday with more of the Friday Morning Mingle. Hope you enjoyed the show. Share the show with your friends if you enjoyed it. And by all means, if you are not a member of a chamber, no matter where you are in the world, Gwinnett Women's Chamber would like to welcome you to the family. So go to GwinnettWomen'sChamber.com to become a member. We have a membership just for you, even if you're a student. So thank you again. We'll be back again next Friday at 10 a.m., God willing. Until next time, everybody. Until next time, have a wonderful weekend, and thank you, ladies, for always co-hosting the Friday Morning Mingle with me. I will talk to you all soon. Make it a great day. Bye now.
Thank you for tuning in to the Friday Morning Mingle. If you enjoyed this episode of the show, be sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite streaming platform. If you would like to join a community of women who mean business, we invite you to become a member of the Gwinnett Women's Chamber of Commerce by going to www.GwinnettWomen'sChamber.com, or to become a member of the Thrive Tribe, go to www.thrivetribe.biz. Tune in next week for another great episode of the Friday Morning Mingle at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.